Welcome to Story Time with Sunshine Lutey. Hi, I'm Sunshine Lutey, and I wrote something that I would love to share with you. It's called Actions and Reactions During COVID-19. The Sunshine Performance musical variety shows came to a screeching halt when the pandemic hit. They'd started in 2008 when my husband, David Hartman, and I formed the Sunshine Performance Club. We were going strong with 4 major shows planned for 2020. We had weekly rehearsals, weekly shows at South County Adult Day Services, which we call SCADS, and monthly karaoke. On March 6th, we performed our last show at SCADS, although we didn't know it at the time. We were already being very careful. Each performer had their own foam cover to put on the mic while they were singing. I also had arranged to start a storytelling time with SCADS on March 13th. Well, on Thursday, March 13th, all the club presidents in the village received notification that all of the clubhouses were closed for 30 days. I also got a call the same day from the manager at SCADS who said, no more shows. With all the clubhouses closed, we immediately canceled 2 of our 2020 shows. The first one was the March 26th Sunshine Show of Tomorrow. I'd already submitted a story and pictures to the Globe to promote the event. We also had to cancel the April 6th Dr. Trin lecture and performance by the OK Corral. In Orange County, the infection of the virus started with 3 cases on January 26th. Of course, we did not know that. We did not know until in March the account started tripling. I began keeping the count of what was happening in my journal. Before long, it became clear to me that there would be no shows in 2020. My world fell apart. I built a world of music for entertainers and audiences and added entertainment through storytelling. My world suddenly disappeared. As I learned more about the heartbreaking devastation of the virus, I was shattered. But the loss of my ability to share the joy of music and stories with others nearly destroyed me. How could I survive? I love to write, but when I sat down and tried to do any writing project, my motivation disappeared. One special activity saved me. During December 2019, when I became very ill, I started working on the program for our planned July 19th show. It was going to be a tribute to Rodgers and Hammerstein with my family, the Sugar Babes and David. So I planned out the program, chose the songs, organized their order, and then built a page in my website with the lyrics, with the music, and so that even though my group, the Sugar Babes, my two sisters and my daughter and I are far apart, we could all still work on the music. We as Sugar Babes just love texting and emailing back and forth about the music. We were connected, and we knew that whether or not we got to do a show in July, we would keep working and having fun together. I had an epiphany. I thought, I know how to share the joy of music and my stories with others. First, I will promote the Sunshine Performance Club's event history, where there are links to 24 shows that we did from 2008 through 2019. Then, I set up my iPad and I started recording my stories. I made videos out of them and built a web page called Storytime with Sunshine. Right now there's 18 stories out there. So I also gave that to the director at SCADS and promoted it in our local paper. I filled my days with many activities, actually too many, as I will describe later, but in between all this activity, well, that's where my life took a turn for the worse. During late 2019, David's increasing vision problems caused him to lose two of his favorite activities. That's golf and billiards. But he continued to sing as we practiced the songs for our July 19th show. I knew this was excellent exercise for him, for his lungs, for his brain, as he had to try to remember the lyrics. I smiled as we worked together. I loved his strong, sonorous voice. He also kept his brain active with almost daily poker sessions with his friends. Each night, as David and I sang together, we told each other, we will survive. In March, David lost his main activity, 5 hours of poker almost daily. It can't restart anytime soon, so mostly he sleeps and watches television. He's a wonderful singer. Sometimes he still sings the songs he planned to sing in the show, but his motivation is not high. When everything stopped and we were in limbo, life felt so different. We are both part of the vulnerable population, with him at 96 and me at 77, but we tell each other, love conquers all. We will be okay. David's family had planned a celebration for his 96th birthday. They were all going to come to California from far away. That, of course, was canceled. But by that time, I'd learned a new trick. I learned about Zoom. And so, 23 of David's family connected with him. With his impaired vision, he really couldn't tell who was who on the computer screen, but he almost could identify people by voice. And he was very honored and happy. As the pandemic progresses, I struggle because David is faring less well. And my home jobs have multiplied. I'm busy, yet I will admit to feeling bored, depressed, frustrated, and angry. For years, David had a housekeeper. And David said immediately, I don't want anybody from outside in the house. He's still paying her, but guess who got all the extra jobs to do? That was me. When I feel bored, it seems like I can't focus on anything. Trying to get anything done is hard. When I'm depressed, I think maybe David is right. I should just go back to bed, sleep, and sleep. Why, oh why, am I working so hard to try to keep things going? I feel frustrated because now I'm responsible for every little thing. David used to love to shop. That was very good for me. He did all the grocery shopping. I hate shopping. With his weakened immune system and weakened physical state, I do all the shopping. I prepare the meals. I clean up. I deliver his meals to him on a tray in the living room as he sits on the couch. I clean the bathrooms, the house. I launder and fold the clothes. I stock the refrigerator from the garage supply of sodas. I collect and take the garbage out to the curb. I even operate the road crew for him because all of the little options are tiny. He can't see them. So I have to help him find his favorite recordings and favorite things to watch. I think he's all set. I go back to my whatever I'm trying to do at the time, and guess what I hear? Baby girl, can you? Yeah. The anger hits me because he makes promises that he can't keep. When he sings, he exercises his lungs, like I said, and his brain. This would be wonderful if he was singing every day. But when I ask him, are you going to sing today? He says, I'll sing tomorrow. Tomorrow just never seems to come very often. Recently, at midnight, he suddenly says, okay, let's sing. I swore. Why the blank do you want to sing at midnight? I'm tired. Then I calmed myself, apologized, and listened to his 7.5-minute song from Carousel, Soliloquy. Then I went to bed. He makes a delicious dish with linguine, Alfredo sauce, mushrooms, olive oil, shrimp, and black pepper. I freeze the leftovers in small containers, and these make wonderful meals for him in between the hamburgers and steaks that he loves to eat. I prepared the last of the frozen dish last night, and he said, well, do we have all the ingredients so I can make a new batch? We had everything except mushrooms. I shop once a week, so when I went to the store, I got 2 packages of mushrooms. And then I said, honey, you need to make the special dish within a couple of days because you want to do it while the mushrooms are still fresh. And he said, I'll do it tomorrow. He made the same promise each successive day. It's 6 days later, and tomorrow never came. Unless he makes the dish today, I'll have to throw out the mushrooms and start over again. I have to admit, I had a little anger when I said to him, you never keep your promises. Again, I calmed myself and said, David, I'm sorry. I know that everything you do is so difficult. Getting out of bed, cleaning up, dressing, walking to the breakfast table, getting up from the breakfast table and walking over to the couch. None of these things are easy. They all sap your energy. You know what he did? He smiled. He said, "You don't have to apologize. I love you." Today, David surprised me. He got up early. For him early. It was 3:30 in the afternoon. And while waiting for me to come and watch a movie with him, he decided he would get up and get the shrimp out to thaw. I cut up the mushrooms, and when the shrimp were thawed, I removed the tails. David emptied 4 bottles of Alfredo sauce into a pan, added the mushroom and the shrimp and all the other ingredients. He filled a huge pan with water, put in the linguine, and finished cooking the linguine and sauce. After he finished a bowlful for his dinner, I filled 6 containers with 1 1/3 pounds of the linguine dish. These will make wonderful meals for David. Making this dish was really hard for David. His neck seems to be in constant pain, and when he's up, he's just in pain. But the frozen dishes will make good dinners for him for a long time. This is wonderful because he doesn't like the dishes I make for myself with chicken or fish. My final frustration. Yeah, okay? It's totally about me. I originally thought that with the cessation of all the outside activities, that I'd be able to organize all these papers that are all over in the 2 places I work, the den and my office. To my utter frustration, the stacks of paper grow daily, and I don't seem to have the time or the energy to make my own little world a better place to live. But as I refocus my mind, I climb from the depths of boredom, depression, frustration, and anger. First, I will forgive myself for not organizing the papers spread out in the den in the living room. After all, I am very busy. Second, I live, I love, I care for David. I know he loves and appreciates me. He's an intelligent, loving, and wonderful man. We still love, care for each other, and know we are lucky. We comfort each other as we say with hope, "This too shall pass." I do feel lucky. We will continue living and loving and enjoying each other. Besides taking care of the house and David, why am I so busy? It's because I've discovered so many lovely things to keep me active. I belong to several village clubs that couldn't meet anymore. One of them, the Village String Band Club, had scheduled a musical show in May. Now, of course, that show ended up being canceled. But the director and I had talked, and he said, maybe we could continue rehearsing with this new application I found called Zoom. And of course, I hadn't heard of that yet. So I said, well, let me research it and I'll get back to you. I tried it out with my Sugar Babe friends and found that, yes, it was fun. We could see each other. We could talk to each other as long as one of us were talking at a time. And we could sing as long as one person sang at a time. So I had to get back to the director, Alan Levin, and say, well, we cannot use it to rehearse as a band and singing groups, but we certainly could use it to practice each person singing a song, the rest of the person muting themselves and listening. And that's what we started to do. The band said, let's have a theme for each week's session. And so they would decide on a theme, and that's what the songs would be about the next week. The first week, someone sang a parody about COVID-19. Suddenly, my desire to write, my focus kicked in, and I wrote my own parody to a couple songs from Fiddler on the Roof, and sang that one. The next week, the theme was parties, and I wrote a song called Party With Me During COVID-19. So I was back to my writing. The Sugar Babes share ideas and songs during weekly Zoom sessions. I added bi-weekly Zoom sessions with my family. And during one of the family's session, little Lorelei, my 3-year-old great-granddaughter, entertained us with 3 songs. I also have sessions with the Sunshine Performance Club, weekly ones. I record all these and send them to the participants. When the president of the publishing club, Peggy Edwards, said, could you Zoom our meeting? I said, okay. So now I do that once a month. And that's where we share ideas about publishing books. Because I've self-published 2 books, people often ask me questions, and I enjoy sharing the information, although it's very time-consuming. With the help of the Alzheimer's Orange County, we plan to start the Fit Brain monthly meeting this month. And one more exciting thing happened is that Audrey Lush from Alzheimer's OC has contacted people that used to attend South County Adult Daycare, and we are doing a weekly show for some of the people from SCADS. What a delight to be able to once again share the joy of music. I finally canceled the July shows, and I probably will cancel the October show, just haven't done it yet. The October show is going to be our tribute to the Beatles, so that one's getting ready to go. In June, Teresa Keegan contacted me about a project. She wanted to have a Zoom session with some people who like to write and have us submit thoughts about our reactions to COVID-19. That's how this article came to be. Actually, with the songs that I've written, this article, I'm going to have enough material for my 3rd book, and I'm working on it. It's in editing mode right now. Going to be Sunshine's Stories 2. Of course, with all the other activities I have, finding time for writing is not easy. I don't know when I'll have the time and energy to start working on my fiction book again. Dealing with the pandemic caused me to reflect upon my life. I feel that I've been lucky because after having a painful relationship with my parents, I made peace with them long before they passed on. I enjoyed the love of one man, and now I'm enjoying the love of a second man. I feel very lucky. Yes, I do. My first husband, Lloyd, had vision and dreams for our future. I never thought it would be possible for me to get a BA, Bachelor of Arts. I mean, we were working full time. How would we do that? Well, Lloyd came up with a plan. We moved to California, where the junior college was almost free at that time, 1963, and worked full-time, went to school part-time, saved money so that we could continue on with our education at a university. We got our BAs. He talked me into having children while we were young, so that when they were grown up, we'd still be young enough to enjoy our lives together. And he searched for a place to retire where he could play golf, and he found it. We had very little money, but due to a strange set of circumstances, outsourced jobs, severance pay, and being picked up by the company who our work was being outsourced to, so I still had a full-time job making the same kind of money. We were able to purchase a home in the village. Yes, luck rode with me. Lloyd enjoyed golf and his friends here for 10 years before I lost him. And then I didn't feel so lucky. But I found David, or maybe David found me, and I started to feel lucky again. I soon discovered that David had vision and dreams as well. His dreams became mine, and we fulfilled them. He dreamed of forming a club in our village. The club would perform major shows in the 814-seat theater. It'd be for charity. It'd be for the community and for the development of people in the village who wanted to sing and grow. So together, with the help of the members of the club, we fulfilled that dream. He continued to dream, and I continued to work diligently to make these dreams come true. He taught me to play golf and billiards, and entered me in the Senior Olympics. We traveled around the country, earning medals. It was such fun. His most recent dream was to perform in a show that was just David, Sunshine, and a piano player, Jackie O'Neill. And we fulfilled that dream. So far, I have shared 15 wonderful years with David. I am lucky. As I reflected, I realized that I felt lucky most of my life. Although I felt lost when the pandemic hit, as I read the papers and listened to the news, I realized how lucky we really are. We sheltered together at home, but our financial situation didn't change. The government still deposited our Social Security checks in our accounts. We weren't worried about loss of income. We'd been eating at home much more due to economics and to my sensitive stomach. So losing the ability to go to the restaurants wasn't a big deal. Because David's health had deteriorated, we hadn't been taking vacations. So sheltering at home seemed pretty natural. Attention to the media revealed stark inequities, where Black people account for over 1/2 of the COVID-19 cases and 60% of the deaths. Reports on poverty show that 21% of the Black population and 18% of the Hispanic population live under the poverty level. The day after the police killed George Floyd, people of all colors joined in demonstrations against the brutality of the police. Since I can't protest in the street, I joined a virtual protest and will do everything I can as I sit at my computer to make the world a better place. I suddenly modified my feeling that I've been just lucky. I've never experienced extreme poverty or police brutality. I had insurance with my job. I have insurance with Medicare. So I have wonderful health insurance. Only once in my life did I experience what poor people across the nation face daily in their lives. Lloyd and I had no jobs, no insurance, and there'd been an accident. Denise cut her chin severely. We went to 3 emergency rooms where they turned us away because we couldn't pay the emergency room fee and we had no insurance. You think I was angry? You bet I was. However, that was only once in a lifetime. Not only have I been lucky, but I know I'm privileged. I wrote an autobiographical article called No Christmas in 2019. Both David and I were extremely ill in the middle of December. I had purchased gifts for the family because we were supposed to be driving to Las Vegas to be with my family for Christmas. That didn't happen. Then the pandemic came. All the gifts lay on the bed. And I just couldn't see that packing it up and taking it to the post office and mailing it was essential business. However, I worried that my great-granddaughter, Lorelei, would outgrow the beautiful ballerina dress I bought for her. So, on July 1st, I packed and mailed the gifts. When the presents arrived, my daughter took a picture of Lorelei in her new ballerina dress. Yay, it fit perfectly.